Hi everybody, welcome to this Twitter Spaces. My name is Dan. I am the host today, and we are the Chain Guardians, the blockchain superheroes. We take crypto and make it easy for you to understand through our anime inspired superheroes. Today we are here to talk all about ApeSwap and our recent campaigns with ApeSwap. I am fortunate enough to have the blockchain legend Idon Liu with me. Hello Idon, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for getting me onto this
That's
call.
great. So
Actually, I requested it, I guess.
this was all your idea. I'm not going to take any credit for it. So, just a bit of context for everyone listening. Chain Guardians has been working with ApeSwap for a number of months now on Treasury Bill campaigns. People could take part and they could earn C tokens to exchange for a new Chain Guardians character called ApeSwap, which can be used across our different games and mining platforms. Head to chainguardians.io to learn more about that. But whilst those campaigns are now over, we have a third campaign with ApeSwap, and there is a few more details to take in this time. So this is why we've got the expert Idon with us today. And we want to go through it in a bit of detail. We've got some questions that we're going to answer, and if you do have any further questions, just put them in the chat and we'll get to them. So Idon, maybe from a high level point of view, tell us about what this new campaign with ApeSwap looks like. It starts today at 6 o'clock UTC. What is happening?
Yeah, thanks. So it's the third time that we're running this, but high level, it's we are providing a farm essentially in a way. Traditionally, they call it farm, but because most farm is distributing too much tokens, so ApeSwap came up with something very interesting called a Treasury Bill. High level, it's very much like the farm, except the difference is whoever provides the LP, instead of farming a token, you are trading your LP tokens for some other token in return for higher yields. Now, the good thing for the project is they will be able to increase the liquidity pool for their respective token. And the good thing for the user is they're essentially getting a guarantee for the yields. So high level, what we're doing here is if you were to put in an LP to the farm, let's say you're putting $50 in CGG value and $50 in USDC, you put that into the farm for I think it's 14 days or 30 days. And you're guaranteed, I think it's 14 days actually, you're guaranteed to get back a little bit more than $100. I think you might be getting $108 or more. The actual rate might change a little bit, but it keep increase over time until someone go purchase it. So, but either way, it's almost like a guarantee that your $100 become $108 or whatever amount you put in. Now, because you are selling your LP for USDC essentially, so that's why it's kind of called a treasury bill, because you have to hold it over time and you earn the other instrument essentially. For us, very interesting because everyone else that's working with ApeSwap acquiring their treasury bill, they actually give let's just say as example, they would give their token plus USDC, and in return you get more of their token. So because CGG is a very mature token, which means all of our BC have fully vested. As you guys know, some BC probably 300x, like they participate early. And I think most people that adopted very early probably got their ROI as well, right? But anyways, so if the project was to provide their token, then of course they need to issue more token. So, but for us, we're reverse as well. We encourage people to put in the LP, but in reverse, you end up getting USDC. Then, from ApeSwap's perspective, they're like, actually, you're the only project ever that came to make this request. Because when we're like, yeah, that's because like we actually want to pretty much like we're fairly confident that we ain't going to go much lower, and that and that we're at this point just encouraging more LP, and we don't mind giving the USDC since we're not acquiring back directly. So that's kind of the best way to have more CGG USDC.
Okay, so thanks for that explanation. So just to clarify then, so part of this campaign is, part of the new campaign is very similar to the last, right? It's, 100K worth of CGC USDC bonds available to purchase, 50% on Polygon, 50% on BNB chain. That's kind of the same as last time, right? So, but just a new pool. Obviously, one of the new things that is coming up here is all around how we sort of the banana pool. Can you talk more about how that works?
Yeah, okay, and I'm gonna probably try to recap the first part and then talk about the banana pool. So yes, so essentially the first round that we did, so we did 3-round Treasury Bill. First round was only on Polygon. Second round was only on BSC. Both round was 100K bills to be sold. In this case, we are doing both of them at the same time. So we're adding 50K more of Treasury Bill to be available. Half on BSC, half on Polygon. So this time you can either buy it on Polygon or the BSC side. We're using a faster acceleration schedule this time, similar to the BSC side. So what I mean by that is BSC side actually sold twice as quick because the profit yield went up faster by twice as fast because we asked them to make it twice as fast. First one we thought took a little bit too long. So either way, this last one will have both of them accelerate at the same schedule. Again, what I mean by accelerate is if you were to have the LP, $100 LP, right, 50% on each side, you will be waiting for the number to go from red to positive. If no one buys it, you're going to keep going positive. So which means if you put, let's just say you have the $100 LP sitting, you can wait and it might actually go to 110%, 120%, 130%. So when you put in the LP, you can immediately, purchase the Treasury Bill, which will give you $130. But now, and of course, it's fresh over 14 days. So guarantee over 14 days, you will get back you will get back that amount USDC. The only thing is if you wait too long, someone else might jump in first, and automatically the Treasury Bill's price will drop to a negative number until you wait some more before you can buy again. This is a very interesting mechanism because this prevents like a rush of everything getting sold. So you kind of have to wait. So it's almost like in a way they add an auction element to it. Okay, so anyway, so that's the Treasury Bill. 50K is for sale on BSC, 50K is on sale for pretty much on BSC. And all of them, the schedule, we're estimating all of them to be sold out in 14 days. That's how we set the acceleration schedule to the positive. So now in terms of the banana pool, so now that after you purchased it, remember last time in round 1 and round 2, and now it's round 3, people actually receive C tokens, or Apex C tokens. So for those who don't know, C tokens is just our way of naming the fractionalized token to earn ChainGuardians NFTs. You will need 1,000 C token in order to trade for one NFT. In this case, it's the Apex blockchain superhero NFT that's on Polygon. So you're able to get the C token. I think the first round we gave people 15% of total supply. Second round we gave out, I think it was 5% of total supply. And this round we're giving out of also 5% of total supply. So actually, we recently sent out the first round and 2 a C token as well to all the users, and we actually gave them double the amount. So, but either ways, this is the last time we'll be giving out C token as well. So if you participate, not only you're able to swap your LP for essentially USDC, and will guarantee USDC, you're also able to earn C tokens, which you can then 5% of total supply, use that to trade for NFTs, for Apex NFT. There is a total of 300 Apex NFT, so a total supply of 300K Apex C token, because there's, again, 1,000 C token to trade for one NFT. Lastly, the banana. Okay, so what's up with this banana? So one of the key thing with all of our C tokens in the past, as you guys know, a background intro to C token is you're able to stake our governance token CGG for the power token, which then you can stake the power token for C token of various kind on ChainGuardians website. So in this case, when user earn a C token, the problem we had in the past is, okay, if I only earn a 50 C token, I need 1,000. So what do I do with the 50, right? So I either need to get, or like vice versa. If I have 950 and missing 50, where do I go get the rest? So essentially, you had to go to our website. Sorry, not our website. You had to go to Discord and say, hey, anyone else have 50 more C token they can sell me and do a peer-to-peer trade. That's because in the past we never really seeded any liquidity potentially, essentially for the C tokens. So this time around, because the Apex NFT is kind of as usual theme after the project we're working with, and the project we're working with is ApeSwap. So they are very kind to donate or to give us $5,000 worth of banana. So essentially, I think it was something like 120K banana token. So what we did is we took all of that and took 5% of the C token and created a AMM pool on ApeSwap. So which means there is now liquidity available for people to swap between banana and C token. So if you have some C token, you don't have enough, or let's just say you don't want to trade for the NFT, you can sell your C token for banana. And of course, if you have, if you're just missing 50 or 100 or whatever, if you want to buy some, then you can also go to ApeSwap and to just select the C token and purchase it with banana. The interesting thing is, and again, for those not familiar, you can check. Let's just say you already received some C token. You can go to MetaMask, go to look up your Polygon scan history, copy the token address, and you should be able to paste that into the ApeSwap in order, and then of course select banana as the other pair. Because sometimes when a token is not listed, you just have to enter the token address. I think actually, now that I think about it, we'll probably tell ApeSwap to say, hey, can you actually add a token symbol for the Apex icons and have that listed so people can just do a drop down to look for it. We'll check.
We have done that, I think, already. So that is something we've done, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Does it show like the Apex
yeah, it does, yes.
Or do you know what
we did
icon I showed?
We did it last night,
nice,
yeah.
Nice.
Because the team thought about that as well. So yeah, we're on the same page. That was brilliant.
Nice.
Okay, that's cool. It's almost giving a value to C tokens where you can trade them for bananas, and also then swap them back if you've not got enough.
Yeah. I think it's definitely something that is needed. In the past, the thing is we cannot technically sell token as a project. So therefore, for C tokens, which for us, from legal perspective, we kind of indicate it as it has no value for our project. Obviously, we give it else as incentive, people can farm it, but we would never sell C tokens. We actually never can, unless we write like entire token white paper, have that legally approved, then we can issue it and essentially sell it or seed a pool. So in this case, it's kind of interesting because banana, it's not our token, it's given to us, so we're just seeding it as a pool by putting the C token there, matching to their I believe banana is also governance token for them. So which obviously have legal white paper and stuff like that. So yeah, so in this case, we're pretty much clear, and yeah, it's very interesting so that people can buy and sell so that they have 1,000. Or people can also of course add to the pool as well. They will have some banana. They can also participate to be an LP provider as well. That's entirely up to them.
Awesome. So okay, I think that's all quite clear actually. But I think one of the biggest points I think when we asked people what the questions we're actually on around that third point around Apex holders having this additional benefit that they can have 100% access to the Apex LP. Can you sort of talk us through in some in simple steps what this kind of means and what the benefit is here to the community? And I'll ask you some follow-ups as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess this is the reason I was like, well, we definitely have to get into spaces and keep this recorded so we don't have to keep repeating this in the future. So high level, we've been, as those of you guys in the ecosystem for a long time, with ChainGuardian, you can stake CGG, and you can earn PAL token, which essentially is our version of PancakeSwap, right? Or our version of the swap. And so with this whole deal, after you get PAL token, you can now stake for C token, which we talked about before. And recently, we're taking that step onto one step further, which is we recently been working with the CGG DAO to say we're gonna actually create this thing called the Guardian node, which I'll touch on that a little bit. It's currently, I think, I'm being voted right now, but essentially the idea of the Guardian node is you can stake CGG to earn more CGG. So now people be like, well, okay, well, I mean, every other project does that. What's the difference? So the big difference here is the CGG that people are staking for is actually, I would say, accumulated based on the profit of the validators that we're running. So specifically, the first one, what we're doing is we're taking our Matic validator node. As you guys know, we're pretty much one of the first external validator for Polygon. So we're taking the validator node's profit. We are then using a sophisticated market participant, aka market maker, to swap that into CGG. Then essentially we lock that CGG and match it with the same amount of CGG for rewards. Okay, now it sounds a little bit complicated, but essentially high level, we are adding we're not adding more supply of CGG into the economy. And able to allow people to farm it. So now, the interesting innovation is, okay, while we're doing that, we're like, why don't we actually have what if some whale come in and they can farm all of the CGG just because they have too much? So we thought of an idea to say, okay, why don't we gate the farms with an NFT? So just think of it like any other farm, like you could be on PancakeSwap farming for whatever it is, right? For cake or whichever other token you're farming. But now you only have access to farm if you have a certain NFT. So we're like, okay, that's a very cool idea. So that, which means, let's just say in the future, maybe this is, obviously not approved yet, as a concept. In order for you to farm for the CGG from the Matic validator node, you must have a Matic NFT, superhero. So then that's very interesting because then all of a sudden you're adding more value to our NFT superhero directly, right? Because now it's also gates access. So that was essentially the concept. But now it will take a long time for the main, CGG everything to be approved. So we said, okay, why don't we take this opportunity with the LP pool to essentially do that? Because the smart contract has been developed for a while now. We just never used this feature in the past before. So it's kind of an innovation that we're doing here. So exactly what we're doing here is just earlier we talked about, ApeSwap gave us essentially 120K banana. That's lots of banana, and which is about $5,000. And we seeded it a AMM pool on ApeSwap with the Apex C token, right? So that LP, which is worth at least $10,000, right? Because half is in a banana, the other half is in Apex C token of supposedly equivalent value. So that LP is to be owned by the Apex. Well, I would say to be owned. I should use the word accessible because they don't directly own yet. Accessible to the Apex NFT holders. So now, how do they get access to that? Is we're likely going to do a new pool which uses the functionality we just discussed, which is you can stake CGG in order for you to earn the LP token. So which means if you stake CGG, let's just say for 30 days, you can earn maybe 50% of, well, eventually 100%. We might split it up into several phases. So you can earn that $10,000 worth of LP will be owned by, will be accessible to these NFT holders. So yeah, so that's pretty much it.
So
Yeah.
basically, by having Apex the character, you will be able to unlock that particular pool and work towards farming that particular pool. And in this case, it would be that sort of $5,000 in bananas we talked about.
Yeah, well, it's $5,000
Yeah.
on each side, right? So 5,000 on banana plus red C token. So which means if you own that LP, of course you can withdraw the LP to get half banana, half C token back. So you'll be getting more C tokens, which is kind of interesting because you have Apex and you can earn back more Apex and C token. Now, to make it more fair, one of the things I didn't mention in our contract, we also allow user to set a max and min. So which means in this case, we might limit the number of CGG to stake. Because the problem is, let's just say one guy with the Apex token, they have, a million CGG. Another guy's an Apex NFT, but they only have, one CGG. So therefore, the person with the 1 million CGG is going to earn like a million times faster. So in order to prevent that issue, we also added to a smart contract that we can limit the amount of CGG. So which means we might make it fairly low, like max cap is maybe 5,000 CGG. So which means even if you have NFT, you can only stake 5,000 CGG at most. So anyone else, staking 5,000 will be on equal grounds. If you want to stake more, I guess you just have to have move it to a different wallet and stake another Apex NFT and stake another 5,000. But given there's only a total supply of 300, it would be pretty limited. So it's a fairly good way for you to pretty much guarantee that the Apex also has a future value. Because the LP that we have seeded, it will also increase in value, right? Because as you know, the LP provider typically gets about 0.3% of every transaction. So in this case, the LP will grow over time anyway. So if a lot of people sell banana for CA, Apex, etc., the $10,000 equivalent value conceptually will likely increase to be more C token than banana, because as people trade to get the banana to get their C token, it will increase that pool size. And at the end, it's going to all go back to the people that has the Apex NFT.
And that's quite interesting. So when is this part of the campaign likely to kick off?
Yeah, so the smart contract is actually done. We have tested it because we've been updating our contract anyways. We're actually in the midst of, it should be Certex that's going to audit it again, because we're essentially auditing that as well for the the Guardians node that I talked about earlier. So we just want to make sure the smart contracts are more robust. Now, given that this one is fairly low risk, we may even roll it out, even prior to the audit, just depending on how long it will take on the audit, right? Because we're going to use it for the Guardian node, which is likely going to expect like 5 million to 10 million CGG staked on it. So we don't want to mess around that. So that's why we're getting Certec to re-audit the staking contract. I mean, keep in mind the original staking contract was audited by Certec before. Given that we added all some additional features here, we're just making sure that it is being re-audited again. So yeah, so that's
okay. So it's likely to be soon, right? So next couple of weeks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I sometimes get lost in the details. Yeah, it will likely be, I would say, within maybe 30 to 60 days before we see that pool. We might do it like in 2 phases. Maybe like first phase, you get 50% of it. Second phase, you get a
awesome. So for anyone listening out there as well, at that time, we will also release a comprehensive article detailing this as well. So, there'll be more chances to ask questions and kind of learn more as well at that time. Idon, is this something that we're considering? Is this likely to be a new formula for us going forward with these kind of campaigns, with these kind of different avenues and channels?
Yeah, like high level, we've been looking at how successful this will be. Obviously, Apex is the front runner. Guardian node, which essentially instead of sharing, essentially like the high level concept is the engagement that we've been working with the external project. The result of that engagement, for example, they giving us banana. In the past, we just go to our treasury. Maybe we sell it, or maybe we stake it, we keep it, and then eventually, we'll use it for operational expense. But now, as we become more mature and working with more projects, we're like, okay, why don't we squeeze all this value back to the NFTs? So in this case, it's kind of not squeezing directly into it, but the NFT now have access to these. So which means we could actually, in the plan, again, from the governance guardian node perspective, that need to be downvoted. In our case, we started with Matic nodes validation profit goes into potentially some NFT. As you guys know, we also run validation for Avalanche. We also run validation for Multiverse X. We're in line to do validation for Oasis games as well. So yeah, there could be quite a bit of the benefits from the partnership and engagement that we could squeeze into various different type of NFT, which would make holding ChainGuardian NFT ever more valuable.
I see, that makes sense. And I'm just gonna run through some more questions, Idon, actually. So just on the Apex character themselves, is Apex likely coming to Chain Arena as well in the future? Or is that undecided at this time?
Yeah, I think Apex character is already slated or planned for slating for the current our internal CG RPG. Apex character, we are also producing the stats currently for Chain Arena, so both of them will definitely be in both games. Now, this is an interesting question as we expand to so many characters. Just for transparency, there has been a discussion, but haven't been confirmed yet, whether or not every single character we create in the past, they will all be added to all the games, because obviously that becomes a ever expanding snowball, if you like to call it. Every time we add a character, we add everywhere, because depending on the strength of the partnership and the interest, some of the superhero, not all of them is going to would become the Thor or the Spider-Man, etc. There will be a lesser superhero. So it would make sense for us to focus more on kind of the core story. And so there has been a discussion say going forward for newer characters in the future, we might not commit them to add them across the whole ecosystem, unless maybe there's a demand via some kind of downvote. So something may change, but up to now, all of our characters are pretty much planned to be eventually added to all the current ecosystem. Yeah, I mean, for those that are not yet added, we might still be able to vote on it, but at least for Apex in this case, it's a brand new character. We are planning to kind of have 10 added on both games.
That's all clear, and thanks for clarifying that. So another question actually is sort of coming back a little bit to the Apex LP piece. So in the future, as we said, users are going to be able to stake CGG to earn the Apex LP if they hold the Apex NFT. Will this CGG be counted in the DAO voting power / boost score?
CGG or the C token or the Apex
it mentioned this,
NFT.
The question specifically talks around the CGG, saying, will the CGG be counted in the DAO voting power boost score?
I think CGG is already part of the DAO voting power.
Me too.
Now, is CGG being included for the boost score? I think it is already included in the boost score.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
So I'm wondering if the question was not relating CGG, or wondering if they're talking.
They might be, yeah. It might just be, it might be a typo, for example. Yeah, could be the token.
Okay, can come again? What's the repeated question?
So in the future, users will be able to stake CGG to earn Apex LP, but only if they hold the Apex NFT. Yeah. Will these CGG be counted in the DAO voting power boost score?
Oh, you mean while it is being staked? It will be in the same staking pool. So I believe currently it is all of the pools inside the staking pool all being considered. So it should follow that. As far as I understand, everything staked for PAL is being considered. I am not 100% sure if. Yeah, I would think so, because it's the same mechanism. So we should be able to capture that. Now, I do want to mention, I've been. In my view, and I would probably try to push for this, is not to allow dual benefits. So which means it's like, obviously it'd be best for the user to say, hey, if I were to stake CGG for PAL and CGG for this, and then while I have this, can it be also included in this and that? From a tokenomics perspective, I think it's actually more beneficial for the token to essentially say, well, you have to actually pick if you want to be in the boost score or the DAO vote. I mean, I would personally actually vote for. Actually, it's actually you can either stake it for PAL or you can use it for downvoting. You can actually do both. Of course, we can track both and allow you to, because snapshot, which is what we are based off of, technically it's kind of off chain. It just records a snapshot of your data, so we could include both. But I'm more inclined to say, hey, I would like to have more utility, so which means people really want to get on both. They just have to get more CGG. I think from tokenomics perspective, it's like, yeah, we are giving utility, but should we give all utility in like, one location that you can have all benefits versus you have to split? I don't know. I think that's an ongoing debate. I would prefer to see it not, but from a technical angle, we definitely can. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. But we will have further discussion on that. But I think we definitely can.
Okay, and just another question is: Will all the benefits related to owning an Apex, with all the added benefits, do we intend to set up like a renting system for this?
A renting system for the
benefits
NFT,
related to owning an Apex,
or so I mean, at this point, the specific benefit, obviously there's many benefits of Apex NFT. One is obviously you can play the games, and B is you can earn. Now from the earning the LP perspective, we just talked about, that is a decentralized action, so you'll be staking your CG, and you will need to have Apex on chain and through a smart contract. So you can't rent it and have it at the same time.
Adam, what about if you have
multiple
Apexes, like 3 Apexes, for example? Could you like rent some of them out?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I just want to mention, we are not that I'm aware of that we are creating any sort of rental contract. And since most of our ecosystem these now, we're focusing more and more on chain. Of course, I mean, there are other rental mechanism, like for example, X2Y2 has a lending and renting mechanism, but that's more for like, put your NFT up for ETH, right? We don't have a rental contract, nor are we currently developing one. Now, if user want to kind of rent it, at their own risk via other platform, I think that might be possible. But I'm not aware of us creating a rental system across the ecosystem. Now, and then this kind of ties to the whole guilds concept, right? Like, it's like, well, if I have a lot, can I like rent it out and be profitable? That being, I think, really the question. Currently, we haven't. Will we? Maybe. Because I think the total number of ChainGuardian NFT is like something like 4,000, right? It isn't like, not even as big as a PFP collection. Of course, we're still growing that collection. Again, I'll leave it at that. Not currently that I'm aware of, because we have also so much utility. I think to add a rental contract and then enabling everything to be, available while it's on rent would make it much more complicated to develop on a decentralized
I see. And actually, I've got another question here that's really interesting, because I think a lot of people would like to see something like this in the future. Like, could we, in the future, is this kind of, I guess, campaign or utility for NFTs likely to be added to older NFTs and previous Guardians, Lieutenants, like Apex, to sort of revitalize those NFTs? Is that an option in the future?
So I actually have a lot of thought around this recently. A is, well, first of all, our NFT is kind of multiple different blockchain. We have bridges for some of them. So, for example, like Binance can actually cross between Polygon and BSC and ETH via the P network bridge. But then there's more advanced standard, right? Like, well, I think our Aaron can now cross the multiverse bridge to Elrond. So, and there's different bridge providers as well. So now, at the same time, over time, since we released the first ChainGuardian characters in 2018, the ChainGuardian NFT contract also have changed a little bit. So the question is, well, do I do a migration, which is to say, hey, here's the new NFT standard, is multi-chain. As you guys know, there's many new multi-chain supported layer that allows you to, or even like protocol that allow you to create NFT and that would live on multi-chain, mostly still EVM chains. But yeah, potentially you could also cross all the bridges. Then to say, hey, maybe I just allow you to convert to a new NFT, and then that would be on the latest standard. Or the other way might be easier for us to say, well, okay, we're just gonna airdrop everyone the new version, and then that's pretty much it. And of course, the third option is technically, yeah, after you do that, we can make all of the contract a proxy contract, so you can kind of update over time. Um, has been discussed, but in near term, I don't think so. Just because I think which chain, which bridge is still very fluid. There isn't a go-to standard for NFT bridge. I mean, like for example, like Seller kind of took over the ERC20 space, I would say, in terms of like crossing chain as a seller, and maybe even not ERC20, like a multi-chain NFT a token bridge. Seller is kind of the go-to place. But for NFT side, it's still not very consolidated. So I think we might wait a little bit longer to say, okay, we really need to have a single new decentralized token that can upgrade and that can move across chain, do all that fancy stuff across all of them. But for now, we are doing quite a, I would say still a third of our utility, or maybe even half, is still off chain, right? If you're logging the games, you do NFT mining, we kind of just recognize that you have the asset and allow you to operate with it off chain. Of course, we do have on chain stuff. We're trying to move more and more to that. So for now, it doesn't really matter even if it's off chain. But stuff like staking, which is kind of stuck at Polygon, of course, we could move to a different chain. For the time being, people still need to kind of move across different, operate across different specific chain. And some of the NFT just won't be upgraded to enable the feature just because they're not on a correct specific chain.
I see. So it's quite limited to what chain these NFTs are currently on. Another question, Idon, was around obviously the partnership, collaboration, I'll call it, with ApeSwap has been quite successful so far. When this one ends, is it likely we are going to end it with those guys, or is this going to be an ongoing piece where we continue to utilize that Apex NFT for further campaigns down the line?
Yeah, so firstly, I want to say kudos to the Apex team. They are probably one of the most professional team that I have worked with in terms of the AMM space, and we have worked with many in the past. I still want to name other names after I just said they're the best. So when we started working with them, they gave us a very comprehensive analysis of our token LP on different chain, what they recommend in order for us to enhance the LP position, etc. And after we finish each program, they send us a detailed summary of, okay, this is what your LP looked like during the program. Your LP, it's now obviously looking better. This is what else we recommend, and this is kind of the profit from it, because essentially, people sell LP, we give them USDC. We're actually at a loss. So because we're giving more USDC than what the LP is worth, at the time of when they buy, so that we can incentive people to, give the LP. But overall, Apex, although we will no longer be doing C tokens because all the supply has been fully allocated, we would be looking at potentially doing more Treasury Bills with them in the future, just because it is a very good way to increase or to keep the very healthy LP for the project. So yeah, more Treasury Bill potentially in the future, but in terms of C token, obviously.
I see, fair enough. And there's not going to be a new character either, potentially one day. Like Apex will have some friends.
I think so far the history of ChainGuardians, we typically only create one character for a project. So I don't see that in the near term. Now, can we create other fun-ish character outside of that ecosystem, like what we did with Oasis, right? Oasis, which was, very, very cool. But we might do smaller stuff like that.
I'm just having an idea that every project should have a good and a bad character. Then we've got the kind of antagonist as well.
Yeah, we actually talk about that a little bit. I'll leave that to the artists and the creativity team. But definitely, I think every superhero needs a villain, right? Otherwise, like, what are they fighting?
Just another question. So on that piece around giving our old characters more use cases. For example, how owning a Zurara gives you access to, a special rate on Chainlink's staking system. Are there more things around that planned for older characters?
I think it really depends on partnership. After the Apex, we are actually there was a character that which we designed, which we actually there's quite a few characters that we designed in the past which we never released. So at this point, we kind of focus more on completing some of those old partnership. And unfortunately, like for us, is sometimes we create a character, and due to one reason or another, let's say the other project rebrand or the other project, blew up. When I say blew up, it's either mean they really blew up or they became too big, right? So there was some project in the past which they all of a sudden, we for Polygon we kind of got lucky. Like again, for Polygon Superhero, we worked directly with every single one of the executive members at that time when the token was still 1 cent. Then of course they went to something like $2.50, $3. So had we gone to talk to them when they were like $3, I don't think we would have got like any of this traction. So it's a lot of it is part of it is kind of like the timing as well. So I think for example, when Polygon when Matic rebranded to Polygon, we had a chance to work with them again. But at that time, I think we were already a little bit harder to reach the executive team, right? Because they all like billionaires, right? So it just became a little bit harder. But of course, in the Polygon, we did a rebrand, so we back and re-engage. So I think the biggest opportunity is probably if they really shift gear on their own branding or the product they provide, then we can definitely go back and recreate. Because keep in mind, the whole Chain Guardian history is about creating or educating people about the blockchain, right? And about the events in blockchain. So if there's a major rebrand, there's major something happening, we want to be able to maybe add that superpower to the superhero so people know, oh, okay, I remember that. So I think that's kind of our emphasis rather than just saying, hey, readily go back to project to upgrade them. But although the artist from time to time, she's currently always looking at it. Well, can I upgrade the overall image, the look? But from a partnership angle, we're also mainly looking at to say, how do I make sure we're capturing the historical event for the blockchain space?
I see. Yeah. So sometimes we might go back if there is a sort of a significant event or a significant kind of progression in that partnership that warrants a relook. But generally, we're moving forward. There's a lot more things to educate people out there in the world of blockchain. It never stands still, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's we really want to be a brand which is like, well, people go to say, hey, I remember these blockchain projects. Oh, because I learned that through Chain Guardian, right? Because of the superhero. So I think that's where a lot of our values come from. Then of course we could go back and add, engage with Chainlink against and say, hey, let's do this. But at the same time, we also have to look at to say, okay, is that going to have impact? So which means maybe the user all already know, or if they don't, I mean, if they all know, if we just do an upgrade, we're spending a lot of time, and if they're not asking for it, it's like, well, we're not going to really add too much new user because people already know. So we also, obviously, from an impact perspective, that makes better sense for us to kind of, also pick out, whatever's next and new. But of course, it is a long tail for us, right, which is supporting these characters back into our games. But we will also try to optimize that.
I see. Cool. I think that's it. I think that's great, Idon. I think we're about out of time actually on the questions front. Unless anything you want to add, we'll wrap up.
I think overall the Apex program has been very successful. It's good for the Chain Guardian token to have more LP. I think obviously we're adding a lot more innovation here in this time, which means people can farm C token, which we kind of have done in the past, but adding this, hey, you now can own the LP of the rewards through by having the NFT as access. So I think we'll continue to add value. I think this has become a very complete ecosystem, although it's a very long journey, right? In terms of, hey, you got to get a C token and get an NFT, then you can get a continuous reward based on having that NFT. But I think that is now, I would say, a very mature and complete so that we can continue to work with more projects, move a lot faster, because our goal has always been, used to be like top 100 coin market cap project. Now we're gonna probably, I think last year, actually end of last year, we expand that to top 200 because sometimes we're like, well, this project is not top 100. Should we even talk to them? We're like, well, I think they have potential. Let's do that. So yeah, we want to continue to be that. Of course, and sometimes new project come into the top, 100. So we want to continue to be like the project that introduced them. And to be a superhero storytelling method, and and super thankful for everyone that have participated and being with us for all this years.
Thank you so much, Dan Idon. Thank you for coming on here and explaining that. That was really nicely put. And just if anyone wants to listen to this back, obviously you can whenever you want. It will be saved. And yeah, the new ApeSwap bonds campaign kicks off actually today at 6 p.m. UTC. So all the details are on our website. Go to ChainGuardians.io to read the blog, find out how to participate, and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks, Idon. Thanks, everybody.
Hey,
Cheers, guys.
bye, guys.